What's going on, world? Coming at you guys again. We got another quick video. Nolan Wales. Let's talk about it. So, if you guys haven't caught on yet, we are in a period of time to where we've seen black boys, kids, children unalived at the hands of young white males. We had Kendrick Johnson. We had Nolan Wales. We almost had Carmelo Anthony. But Carmelo Anthony was smarter than the average bear. And he kept a knife with him at all times for self-defense. Now, the narrative that's continuously being pushed out there right now is the same narrative that went viral when the CEO of the healthcare company, of the insurance company, was assassinated. And that was deny, defend, and depose. So that same correlation is happening right now with the case of Nolan Wales. And the reason why this is happening is because for the last many years, we've consistently seen a narrative being pushed out against people of color. People of color are dangerous. People of color are violent. People of color this and that and this and that and this and that. So when we look at individuals like Kendrick Johnson, who was a good high school athlete and ended up with his organs missing, rolled up in a gym mat in mysterious situations, well, it's kind of difficult to point the finger at white people, isn't it? When you look at the situation for Nolan Wales was surrounded by people that he loved. They were his best friends. They were like his brother. But nobody knows anything that happened to Nolan Wales. Because at the end of the day, you can't point the finger at white people. And when you look at Carmelo Anthony, well, Carmelo Anthony was a situation that went wrong. Because if Carmelo Anthony would have waited 3 to 4 seconds late from pulling that knife out of his bag and was jumped by 2 to 3 or 4 other white people, Carmelo Anthony wouldn't even be here right now. And then they would have blamed the shit on the fact of the matter that, well, they had premise to do what they did because Carmelo Anthony was armed. You know, if you guys had the opportunity to check out Key and Peele on the Comedy Central skit, to where they're news reporters giving out news reports about crimes that have happened, and there are crimes that are white people, and there are crimes that are black people, and they say 1 zip, 1 2 1, 1 zip, 2 3, right? And they're keeping score, they're keeping tally about how to blame. This is the same correlation. As I've said before, when you actually look at this narrative with Nolan Wales, the reality of the situation is, when we look at this scenario, who has more to lose? If it is just Nolan Wales died of an accident, then it's just Nolan Wales died of an accident. But if it comes out that Nolan Wales was murdered, or Nolan Wales died at the hands of his friends indirectly because they failed to act, and then they decided to cover it up, and then there was a judge involved, there was a doctor involved, there was people within the criminal justice system involved, there were multiple kids involved, and they're all white. Do you understand how the narrative is being controlled? Right? Because at the end of the day, I've said this before, white people can do no harm until harm is done unto them. And the narrative that's continuously being pushed out is to try to keep all of that negative media attention away from white people, and how historically white people have been the most violent people on the planet, especially white males. And if you don't believe me, well, go check out Dylan Roof.